So I'm here today in northern Yellowstone and I'm going to do some wildlife photography. I kind of just pulled it off at a pull-off on the side of the road and I'm kind of hiking north, and to the left I see a pronghorn right now as I'm recording this intro. So I'm going to get my camera out and try and take a picture of him. It's a female, but still. And it's already gone. But let's keep going and hopefully we'll spy some more pronghorn up there. Alright, so I just came over this hill here, and this was a good spot to choose because right behind me there's a big herd of elk. Now this is the spring, so the elk don't really have their antlers yet, which is unfortunate because then they don't make good photographs. But I'll still try and take some video and maybe try and get a picture of them. And then to my left, right over here, there's two pronghorn. So I got wildlife all around me. This is pretty awesome, but I'm gonna get my camera out, get set up and taking some pictures. So the elk herd is gone from behind me. I guess they saw me and they got a little spooked. So I should have recorded them first, but I was kind of recording the pronghorn over here because I think the pronghorn are a little more interesting than the elk this time of the year. But these are two female pronghorns. Now both male and female pronghorns do have horns. It's antlers kind of horns because they antlers shed every year, like in deer and elk. But horns, they stay year round, and pronghorns, they'll just shed the tip of their horns. And females do have horns, as I said, but they're just real small horns, and the males have more predominant horns all year round, so that's how I can tell these are females. So I didn't really get that good of pictures of them. They are females, so they're not that exciting without the horns, and they are a pretty good distance, and I'm getting a little bit of diffraction in my pictures for some reason. Kind of some heat waves, I think it would be. Even though it's not too hot, it's still something's causing it just so it's not a clear image. So I'm just going to keep kind of hiking on and seeing what else we can find today. As I'm hiking, we got a bison right up on the hill over there to the left. He came out of nowhere. That's why in these hills you do got to be careful and watch for wildlife, because you can come over and startle either a bear or a bison and they might be inclined to charge you. So that's something we definitely don't want. Especially being out here by myself, wouldn't be good if I get hurt or injured, so just got to be really careful. So I did decide to stop and take a couple images of the bison, just because they're in kind of a nice location there. But they're still far and I'm still kind of getting the heat diffraction. But yeah, they're still looking pretty cool. There's kind of another one over there to the left, and now there's two more. But the only thing is they're going to cut off right where I came. So I might have to do a little improvising when I hike back, because they're going right into that little kind of flatland. Alright, well I'm moving on again, because right in front of me there's these nice hills, and I should have some pretty good overlooks and be able to look for some wildlife. The light today is not the best. It's a little bit overcast, which is okay, but the sun keeps peeking out, causing for some harsh conditions. And it's definitely not too early in the morning. It's about 10 a.m., so really all the best dramatic light's gone. But if it does get overcast tonight, then you can still get some pretty decent balanced images. with a nice balanced dynamic range. But we'll see. I'm just more about hiking out here, kind of seeing what's up here, so I know if I want to come back at another time or whatnot. And it's good to just kind of observe the animals for a little bit and get out and hike. Now there's a herd of elk way up across the way over there. Now I'm going to try and take an image. They're pretty much way too far, but I might be able to get a little bit of video footage. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's kind of nice when you have all these views because you can see the wildlife from literally miles away. But the bad part is, even with my 150 to 600 lens, they still got to be pretty close in order to get a good image. But that's alright, I'll still see if I can get a video. It might be interesting with them on the hill here. Now one of the elk there spotted me, and it was watching me in the snow there, which is amazing because it's probably at least a half-mile away. It's a good distance, but they have really good eyesight. So they were just wondering what the heck that was. Because really the only predators elk have here in the park are the wolves, because bears will sometimes hunt the baby elk, but mostly they're just scavenge. So they scavenge anything that's dead. That's what the bears do, they're scavengers. But the wolves will actually hunt the elk. More in the winter they'll hunt them, but I'm sure in the summer they do as well. So there really wasn't any pictures to be had of the elk. I tried, but it's just way too far, and the elk are way too small. And even trying to get like an environmental wildlife photograph wasn't possible because they're on the side of the hill, so they kind of blend in and they look really flat. Now what I'm looking for to photograph, because the light's not the most dramatic, and like with the elk, how they were on the hill, it made it look real flat, but I'm looking for one of them to stand on the crest of a hill, because it is kind of cloudy today with overcast, so we won't have a blown out kind of grody looking blue sky for the background, and if they're standing on the crest of a hill, you could just get their outline, to where even if it's far away, you can still tell what the animal is, and it still might be an attractive image. And there's actually some bison to the right down in the valley right there. So I'm going to kind of move and maybe try and get an image or some video of them. So yep, way down there in the valley there's some bison, and there's also some elk kind of grazing alongside them as well. Still not a good location for a picture because I am very far away and they are on the hillside, so they look really flat. But I'm still going to try and get a composition out of this. I don't think I'll have too much luck, but it's worth a go. Because the light is still a little bit unpleasing. It is kind of a soft light, because the sun's not full bore blasting, so it is kind of nice that it's a little bit overcast. But yeah, I'll just try and take some pictures and see what I come out with. So it's pretty much a dead end here. It kind of is a steep drop off there. I could kind of circle back, go down in that valley and keep going, but I'm not going to today. That'll be an adventure for another time. So I'm gonna slowly kind of circle my way around, then kind of head back to the car and still look for wildlife on my way. So I'm hiking back, didn't see the bison, so I'm like, oh, okay, we're good. Then I came over the crest of this hill, and they're just right there behind me. So I'm keeping my distance, and I'm gonna go up and around. Don't want to make these guys angry, that's for sure. And there was some bison right on the top of this hill behind me too. Just didn't see them, but I don't think they saw me. That was a little close. So that's all for today's video. I was fortunate enough to see a lot of wildlife today and was able to get some mediocre footage, definitely nothing too good. And as for images, didn't really come away with anything good just because the light wasn't good and just didn't really have a good composition. And a lot of the animals I saw were far away, but it was still pretty cool to see, and that's wildlife photography for you. You can go out and go out and go out and come back without a good image. That's just the way it goes. But I did at least have a nice little hike and explored this area, so I know there are pronghorn over here, elk, and heaps of bison. And I know this is also a black bear area as well, but I didn't see any black bear today or any signs of black bear. Well, I'm going to head back down to the car, grab me some lunch, and maybe take a nap for the day. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.